Following our data roadmap forum in April 2017, where we try to assess our capacity as a country for monitoring the SDGs, we realized that as a National Statistical Office with the mandate of coordinating the national statistical system, we are unable to use our official statistics system in the country to monitor the SDGs appropriately. Secondly, we also realize that in the spirit of leaving no one behind, a lot of the data we compile as a national statistical system largely come from sample surveys, limited data from administrative data, and the decennial censuses. And so we are unable to actually identify areas where some interventions are required to appropriately address some specific SDGs. So as part of that, we started a process of exploring the use of non-traditional data sources to complement the official statistics system in understanding and better targeting interventions. So one of such projects is our initiative of using citizens-generated data approaches to collect data on gender-based violence and on waste management. So we started engaging with stakeholders, even within the National Statistical Office, to get buy-in and then eventually roll out such a program. So we started looking at 5 specific SDG indicators that we thought using citizen-generated data could complement the traditional survey data. So we engaged widely and then decided to develop mobile applications for the implementation of these. So we engaged with technology firms that have the know-how in developing these applications. But what we have tried to do is to engage with the citizens right from the beginning and engaging with the local government authorities who would have the responsibility of implementing these also from the beginning. So as we speak now, we have developed 2 applications that are ready to go out sometime next week. We've already done the pilot testing in the communities where we're going to pilot these. We've gotten some very useful feedback that have helped us. One, the Let's Talk app, which is purely going to be used to measure 4 gender-based violence SDG indicators, and the Clean Up Ghana, which is the app for collecting data on waste management. Whilst we collect the data on waste management, the app will also be used to help solve the the waste problem in the municipalities. So the local authority are very much looking forward to the launch of this next week. And these are how we engage the citizens in collecting data for monitoring the SDGs at that level. Next slide, please. We also realized through our process that there are some SDGs goals that we are lacking behind in terms of our data system, especially around goals 14 and goals 15. Our statistical system in the country basically does not produce the kind of data we need to monitor these. So we started engagement with International Institute for Applied Science Systems Analysis and Trends and others to see how we can leverage citizen science methodologies to monitor some specific SDG indicators. As also working with the line ministries who have the mandate around these indicators, we agree that it would be appropriate to monitor SDG indicator 14.1.1b and then 15.4.2 using citizen science methodologies. So we are at the moment work with the stakeholders involved. We have identified the areas that we're working in, and there's a general buy-in across the national statistical system, especially within the National Statistical Office, to pilot this. And once we're able to pilot this and we see that they are very useful, then we can scale up to cover the entire country and especially areas that our traditional data systems are unable to provide us the needed data. Next slide, please. So largely, we see that this provides a great opportunity for national statistical offices. And so in reviewing our national statistical law in 2019, we gave the greater mandate to the National Statistical Office to explore the use of non-traditional data sources to augment our official statistics and our system. We are also at the same time working on data quality assurance framework because obviously these cannot come in to replace our traditional data systems, but there should be a way of quality assuring these data as we begin to bring them into the fold of official statistics. And we realize that once we are able to proactively do this, it will be able to help the national statistical system to get the necessary resources from the political leaders in the country to implement quite a number of things. And this is coming from some work we did around mobility analysis using telecom data during the COVID period. We realized that that helped us a lot in getting space for the National Statistical Office to sit in the national COVID-19 technical team. And we believe that if we had not actively done this, we probably would not have had the opportunity of being in this. So we think that the system we are setting up are very important and in ensuring that national statistical offices are able to live up to the expectation of being able to adequately and effectively coordinate the national statistical system to produce the needed data for monitoring the SDGs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Omar, for those brilliant remarks. And so great to see Ghana sort of leading the charge, or leading the way amongst the international statistical community to try and make a really conducive environment for broader forms of monitoring, including citizen science. I mean, Omar, you just touched on this. I mean, I think one of the concerns that quite a few countries have is that there isn't necessarily the quality control with citizen science approaches that you might need in order to integrate that data into official statistics. How do you kind of overcome that within Ghana? You mentioned your quality assurance frameworks. Any other sort of tips for other national statistical offices?
Yeah, I think that is a very valid concern, and coming from statistics, national statistical offices, quality is one of the key things that we always look out for. But we also realize that until you build and you continue to revolve around something, you are not able to identify all the issues around it. So for instance, a maker of a car, until you have the car, you will not be able to test all the things around the car. And so with this, our belief is that once we have started this, there are some that are obvious that we need to start working on. And those that are obvious, that are already been tested elsewhere, in terms of quality, we bring in those ones. But there are others that we may not be able to identify at these early stages, but it's very important that, and then we continuously improve on it. And so the quality assurance framework we are developing is one of the things that we're seeking to use to identify some areas that we need to pay attention to in terms of quality of these processes.